In this tutorial in CyberLink PowerDirector, I'd like to show you two methods you can use to animate the backgrounds behind titles to add a little bit of energy, a little bit of interest, a little bit of novelty to your projects. As a bonus, we're going to show you a little bit about working with green screen in the new interface. So please look at the following example, and then we'll show you how to use some of these techniques in your own projects. What I have on the screen are some basic building blocks that we won't start totally from scratch. On track number 1, I have a close-up video of a rotation around a series of batteries. And then I have an audio track with music. I've muted that so that won't interfere with our tutorial. Then on track number 4, what I have is a title track with 3 different titles acting like bullets, giving the features of our product. And then on the track below it, what I have is just the logo for our company. So let's see how we can modify this and make it better. Before we get into the title background that we're going to focus on, I'm going to click back in Media and get to the My Media. We're going to take this video of this guy and drag it down to track number 2. So in most cases, I would be using someone who would be talking and expressing the features that you see in the text on the screen. In this case, it's a generic video. He's just smiling at the camera. So I want to take the green out. How do I do that? I'm going to click on my video clip and then click on the Edit button. And then I don't see a chroma key here. What I have to do in the new interface is go to my background, and there I have a chroma key. So I'm going to click on that. It opens up my chroma key screen. And then I click on the eyedropper by color and click anywhere on the green, and it will edit it out. Now, if there was some left and I had a different shade of green, I could click on the plus here and click on this and add another color to edit out, but I don't need to do that in this case. So we'll click on OK. We've removed the background. But a problem I have is he's in the wrong place because he's starting to interfere with my text. The nice thing about a green screen video like this is I can simply take it, click on it, and move him away so he's still on the screen facing the camera, but he's not interfering with my text or with my logo. So that part is done. Now let's look at how we can enhance the visual characteristics of our title and our logo by using some different backgrounds that have animation or movement to them. Let's take this one here where we have these 3 elements that will pop in. When I play this, you're going to see the less costs come in, and then we have the better results, and finally we have the increased efficiency. What I want to do is give them a background that comes in animated itself. So how do I do that? Let's close our windows on the left side. I want to go back to the media, and I want to click on color boards. Let's click on color boards. I'm going to do gradient color in this case, and I drag down. I'm going to go to this blue one here and drag it down, and this will be behind my titles. Now I want it to start a little ahead of the titles. You'll see why in a moment. So let's increase the duration to match everything else. And now we're going to do some editing on it. First of all, obviously we need to change the size and location. And now I want to make it a little bit different. So I'm going to click on the Edit menu, and I'm going to click on Change Color. Now here I can add some gradient stops if I want. First of all, I can change the gradient direction. I'm going to do that first of all. Let's make it bottom left. And I also want to add some stops. So anywhere I click under here, it will create a stop. And once I have the stop selected, I choose the color. And let's make that one maybe a little bit darker. And click on OK. That's not quite what I'm looking for, so I'm going to click on Edit again, click on Change Color, And let's add another stop, only we'll lighten it up here and click on OK. So that's a little different flavor of a gradient border, and we can also add a shadow around it, or if we want to, we can put a border. Let's try a shadow white. Just pick a stock color here, click on OK. That looks pretty good. Okay, so now I have my color board, but I want to animate it. Now there are two different ways to animate it. So what I'm going to do first of all is click on animation. And here's why I have a host of nice ones I could use. I could fade it in. Let's see what that would do. Okay, that's not too bad. And I could zoom it in. Oh, that's interesting. We have all these different options that you can use if you want to animate it. Some look better than others in certain kinds of situations. A wipe soft is always a good option. So it just adds a little bit. Now, if you can control the duration by clicking up here, or once you've added it, you can control it in the advanced editing on that particular element. But I want to do something different. So on this one, I'm not going to animate it at all. We're going to leave it with no animation. And I want to show you a different way in which you can use this. So I'm going to close this. I'm going to go to my transitions room. In my transitions, I have all these that I can pick from. Now, here's a warning. About 2/3 of them won't work when you're working with something behind a title because it will try to animate the entire screen. But some of them are pretty good at a subset of that. I found one in my list called Shutter. And I'm going to click on that. And this is the one I'm going to use in this case. So I'm going to drag it down and drop it. Now I want to make sure that it's not longer than when the title starts. So I'm going to shorten it so it ends before the title text begins. Now let's go back a few frames and play this and you'll see what I mean. There, it comes in really nice and then my titles roll in after. So that's a pretty good one. But what you'll have to do is experiment. We're going to turn off our search here so everything's available. Experiment with some of these, and some of them are not too bad. There's some in the slideshow category I like. One is called page fold. Just type the word page and enter, and we got a page curl. Let's see if the page curl will work. I'm going to drag that down and drop it. It will replace it. And let's see what this looks like. Yeah, it did. It curled it really fast. If I want it to be a little more dramatic, I'm going to actually lengthen the text, do trim only, and then we'll increase the size of the transition. And let's see if this looks a little more normal here. We'll play it. Okay. So there's one. So you could use a page curl, maybe a page roll. Let's just try that one for fun and see what it looks like. Okay, not as effective as it's when it's working on the whole screen, but it gives you a lot you can do. So there are a number of transitions that you have available that you can use. Now let's look at the other element we want to use and show you some differences and some similarities. So I'm going to go back and let's take the logo and put something behind that. In this case, I'm not going to use a color board. I'm going to use a background image. So we'll click on background image and let's take this dark gray one here and drag this down and put this behind our logo. Again, we'll increase the duration to match. And then we have to change the size of it. Now, when I'm working with these kinds of backgrounds, I find it more useful if I change my zoom feature. I'm going to go down to 25%. And that will allow me to edit it a lot faster, a lot easier, at least to start with. Then I'm going to zoom back to fit. And now I can be a little more precise in my editing behind my logo. And what I want to do now is I want to edit it even more. I'm going to click on the edit button and I'll go back to image And what I want to do here is just dial the opacity back. Just enough so it's a nice little contrast there. But now I also want to change the animation of this one. So I'm going to go to the animation button on the background. And let's see, there's one I found that I thought was kind of cool here. Flying trigons. Let's try that one. Okay, that didn't work. That worked pretty good. Let's view it again. Okay, that worked just about right in terms of timing. So if I wanted it to be slower or faster, all I need to do is either change the duration up here, or I can go into advanced editing and change it in the advanced tools. So that gives me that as well. So here, as we're looking at this, what we're going to see is animated background for our title, for our logo, and then we have the animated background for our bullet points as they come in as well. So that's a way in which you can add more interest and energy to your projects with titling and backgrounds in CyberLink PowerDirector.